All right, let's get into it. What we're diving into today isn't just a story, it's more like a mythic drama. Think of it as a parable, a grand theatrical performance about that age-old struggle, right? The fight between rigid, unyielding order and the chaotic but totally necessary fire of rebirth. So, let the curtain rise. Now, the voice guiding us through this tale, it's a bit of a silent chorus, really, channeling the weary, cynical spirit of Loj, the firebringer. He's the one who sees all the cracks in the god's seemingly perfect world. He's already predicting its downfall, its fiery end, setting the stage for everything that's about to happen.
And so, our play begins. Act 1. We open in the golden halls of the Aesir. And yeah, they're golden, but they are profoundly cold. You have to picture a world of stark, ink-washed severity, a place where divine law is absolute, and any little deviation is a crime against existence itself.
So what is the core belief of these gods? Well, it's their obsession with something they call the iron rime. It's this ideal state of, stasis, a perfect, frozen, and completely lifeless order. In their minds, this is the only thing holding the universe together, this shell of absolute, unchanging perfection. And then you have its total opposite, the crimson spark. This is the force of change, of evolution, of life itself. But in the black and white grayscale world of the gods, this splash of red, it's not a gift. To them, it's a wound. It's a source of corruption, a betrayal that threatens their entire frozen reality.
So, of course, the entity that embodies this spark, the Red Spectre, gets put on trial. The chorus of gods gets together and levels its charges. It's accused of betraying the iron rime, of being a source of cosmic corruption, a threat to their frozen authority. And maybe the most revealing charge of all, they call it an unnecessary gardener. They just can't grasp that a garden needs tending. It can't just be frozen in time.
The verdict comes down fast, and it is merciless. Exile. By casting out the spark of change, the gods are basically sealing their own fate. But you know what? For the Spectre, this rejection is a total revelation. It finally realizes that this suffocating order, this iron rime, is every bit as dangerous as the unchecked chaos the gods are so terrified of.
Which brings us to Act 2. Here, the hypocrisy just simmering under the surface of the god's law, it boils over. And we see it all through the tragic, crumbling partnership of Wotan, the Allfather, and Loj, his fire spirit fixer. You see the dynamic here. Wotan loves to wave around his spear, this great symbol of divine law and rigid rule. But to actually build and maintain his kingdom, he is constantly relying on Loj's cunning, on bargains, on shortcuts. He needs the very chaos he claims to reject, and every single compromise comes with a corrosive price.
And through Loj's cynical eyes, we see the ugly truth. Valhalla isn't some testament to divine glory. Nope. It's a monument to moral failings, built on a foundation of broken oaths and pure vanity. Loj is the ultimate outsider, this fiery, constant witness to the rot at the very heart of the god's perfect order.
Let's call it an alliance, it ends in the ultimate betrayal. First, Wotan tries to control Log's fire, using it as both a protective ring and, let's be honest, a prison. But then, in the final twilight of the gods, he literally stabs Log to unleash that same fire on Valhalla. His desperate attempt to master chaos is the very thing that ensures his own destruction.
Okay, on to our final act. Valhalla is gone, the gods are history. Now, we follow the exiled Red Spectre as it finally discovers its true purpose, not as some corrupting force, but as the architect of a whole new cosmic cycle.
Just picture this scene, right? The Spectre is standing in a valley, still gripped by the last echoes of the iron rime. And before it lies this meadow of crystalline flowers. They're beautiful, they're perfect, and they are utterly dead. It's this haunting callback to the Aesir's inkwash world, where perfection always came at the cost of life itself.
The Spectre reaches down, and the crimson spark, that very infection the gods were so afraid of, it flares to life in its palm. But this isn't an act of rage. No, this is different. With the deliberate, careful heat of a gardener, it touches the ground, and that vibrant red begins to melt the ancient grayscale frost.
As the ice melts, the frozen petals, they don't bloom. They turn to ash. But the Spectre gets it. This isn't just destruction. This is a necessary purge, a cleansing. And right there, from that blackened soil, the very first green shoots of a new world start to emerge, nurtured by the same fire that consumed the old one. And that right there is the final lesson of our whole parable. We've arrived at a new cycle. It's a synthesis, really, of the roles played by law, by fire, and by this misunderstood specter who has finally found its true place in the whole shebang.
I mean, think about it. Wodan in his spear could only ever enforce the past. Loj in his fire could only consume it. But the red specter, with its spark, it does something totally different. It uses the burning of the old world as fertilizer for the seeds of the new one. And this is the great takeaway, isn't it? The cycle is finally restored, balanced. The iron rhyme, that stasis, that structure, that order, it provides the foundation. But it's the crimson spark, the chaos, the change, the evolution that provides the essential breath of life. They were never enemies. They're partners in an eternal dance.
Which leaves us with one last pretty heavy thought to chew on. It's a question that echoes all the way from the ashes of Valhalla to our own lives, really. When the systems we build to protect ourselves end up becoming prisons, is a cleansing fire the only key that can unlock a new beginning?